What a night out at Sharjah Cricket Stadium for My Emirates, and what a night out for this team in particular. Great catch, Trent, but with this young man with the ball, simply superb. Akil Hussain is with us sideline. We're going to hear about his amazing performance tonight. That was the hat-trick that almost was, but unfortunately wasn't. 2 wickets and 2 balls. What a performance. Inches away from a hat-trick. And you had to feel for him because he actually deserved it. He bowled so well tonight. A big victory for My Emirates. Again, 3 on the bounce for them now, won by 106 runs. Not too good for the Sharjah Warriors. Plenty to work on at this stage in the tournament. If we have a look at the table, My Emirates stay on top, and Sharjah Warriors sitting in 5th place now. 2 losses, 1 win for them. They'll be liking some points, and they've got plenty more games to play here at Sharjah Cricket Stadium. Waqar Younis, Niall O'Brien and the man of the moment here, Akil, joining us from My Emirates. Congratulations, 4 wickets. How are you feeling? That was some performance.
Thank you, yes. Happy to be able to perform like that and get the W for my team.
Now, there was a wicket up front that I'm sure pleased you, perhaps a little bit of West Indian rivalry, I don't know there. Johnson Charles, talk us through that.
Yes, we all know Johnson Charles is a very dangerous player. We can see the destruction he did in the last game. So it was pretty pleasing for us to get him out quickly.
It certainly was. We saw firsthand what he can do at the stadium in particular. So here, talk us through your wickets there, because, I mean, you did a great job and that you were so close to that hat-trick.
I thought first up with the new ball, you know, you try and make use of the swing. And I think as you go deeper into the innings, you make your adjustment based on what's working on the pitch on the particular day. And I thought today was one of the days that the wicket held a bit. So regular orthodox worked fantastic as well.
Now, we talked before the game started about using these conditions to your advantage, and that was a prime example of how to do that tonight.
Very much so. So impressed, not just tonight, but over the last kind of 12 to 24 months with your development. Especially impressive when you bowl in a power play. You see when you're playing for the men in maroon, the West Indies, it's a challenge you take on, you want it, you enjoy it. Is that important to have that mindset when you're bowling in a power play as a spinner?
Yes, definitely. I think when I first came into T20 cricket, you know, having conversations with guys like Dwayne Bravo, Sunil Narine, the first thing they let you know, listen, as a spinner, you're definitely going to get hit, more so in the power play. The challenge is greater because you only have 2 guys outside. So the first thing to discard or get out of your mind is the fact that, you know, being scared of getting hit. And I think once you put that aside, it just boils down to execution, bat versus ball. And I think, you know, once I'm able to execute more so often, that I can come out on the successful side.
Well, first of all, I must say that I honestly thought that was a hat-trick. And I'm sure you thought the same, because the way you ran, and it was a lot of millimeters away. Well done, very well bowled. I just want to talk about your, you know, that arm delivery you bowl. You know, we saw Imad Wasim in the past that he's mastered that, and this is very good to see that. You know, is this what you just do it in the power play, or is it just that you uses it in the later part of the game also? Because I'm not sure if it swings that much afterward.
Yes, I think it's based on the conditions and the condition of the ball as well. So sometimes you go deep in the innings and the ball is fairly new and you can still get swing. So it's all about making that adjustment on the day. Sometimes the ball is new and you turn up on a particular ground and it isn't swinging at all. So it's just about making that adjustment and making it as quickly as possible.
And it's also the length, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Sometimes you have to sort of take a gamble and go fuller to get the stumps in play. But as I say, it's just about trying to execute as much as possible.
But luckily, we've brought a ball. We've come prepared. Talk us through maybe the arm ball.
Niall has it in his backpack.
And the undercut. Just talk us through some of your variations, how you go about, you know, the power play, the undercut, or maybe that arm ball that you operate with.
I think it's pretty simple, but I grip it basically like this, but I think more so I have to focus on getting my wrist behind the ball, because any shift in movement, it'll just go straight on.
So that's drifting back into Johnson Charles, for example. What about the ball that kind of undercuts when you're looking for that LB? I'm thinking back in Abu Dhabi. I'm thinking a player Laurie Evans going square on the offside, undercut, bowled. What about that delivery?
I think you know, sometimes I tend to forget it, and my coaches remind me as well. Sometimes you can come from different angles. You can come from higher, you can come from the side. So it's just about using that clock, so to speak, on where you deliver or where you release the ball. And probably changing grip as well. You may not hold it on the seam, you may hold it on the face.
Well, the dismissal of Johnson Charles, 4 degrees of swing. That's a bit like Wasim Akram, let alone...
Not even that. He doesn't swing that much.
Look at this, 4 degrees.
Watch
and
that
it goes
ball.
late. It goes so late.
Look at that. Oh,
Absolutely
that's
sensational.
a dream delivery, wasn't it? Dream delivery.
Really good one.
And important for you as a spinner to threaten both edges. Obviously, the hat-trick that wasn't, we'll call it, it was such a good ball. But it's important for you as a spinner to put in the batter's mind that you can go both ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I think first thing as a spinner, you know, you have to try and spin the ball. And I think once you have that mindset, more so, even if it isn't spinning, because you're trying to put revs on the ball, you may get the ball to dip, you may get it to hold up as well. But I think the first thing as a spinner, we have to try and spin the ball.
Is it a different pace you bowl with the new ball and the older ball, or is it you try to keep it the same pace?
I've been doing lots of work with Sunil, and you have to mix your pace. The better batsmen you come up against, they'll try and pick your deliveries based on your pace. So you always have to keep mixing your pace and making that adjustment to what the pitch is offering as well.
It was certainly your night with the ball, but it helps when your fielders are on fire as well. And Trent Boult, I mean, I'll say he's young because he's about the same age as me, but he had to move, and did he to take what was a great catch?
Yeah, that was a splendid catch. For a moment there, I was sort of guessing, is he going to get it? Is it going to fall short? But I think when you see guys like Trent Boult under the deliveries, the catches, you're going to be confident as well. And you know, thankfully he pulled off a great catch today for us.
I could have caught it as well. He also bowled very well. He does seem to be on fire at the moment. He's got the most wickets so far in the tournament. He's holding the belt, which I'm sure he's going to try and hold on to, although you're coming for it, absolutely. If we have a look at the way Boulty bowled, what did you like about what you saw from one of your bowling partners?
It's fun, and it's also a challenge to partner with a legend. He's fantastic with the new ball. And, you know, we have our little jokes and our little challenges as well. And we say, you know, listen, who's ever bowling the first one, let's try and keep it new, okay? So we're always trying to make sure, you know, we keep the ball new for our next over and for the next person coming in. But it's amazing to be on the same team with someone like him and just to sit back and watch him work in the power play. Yeah,
because he's a great character. He's great to have around and very lively in the field, Niall, and you would have enjoyed his performance with the ball tonight.
I did enjoy it. He told us in Abu Dhabi, Trent Boult, that you know, it was a bit tongue-in-cheek, but he wants the first over, and he's not getting the first over. So that puts a little bit of pressure on you. Yeah,
definitely. But I think it's all good fun. As you say, Boulty is a very lively, fun character, and he's willing to do whatever it takes for the team. I'm willing to do whatever it takes for the team as well. If it's first, second, third, whatever over that I need to bowl, I'm ready to put my hands up for the team.
My Emirates seem in a good spot. 3 wins in a row now, not just with the ball, but with bat in hand as well. Let's have a look at Pereira's performance with the bat, 42, and a good start.
Yeah, definitely. Power play is always key, but I think it's about cricket smarts as well. You know, we didn't get off to the quickest of starts in the first 2 or 3 overs. But with that being said, I thought the batsmen adjusted pretty well and came back and gave us a decent score in the power play.
Waka, did you think that the Warriors got their bowling plans wrong to some of the My Emirates batters tonight?
I think so. I think, you know, the changes of the bowlers really didn't really help them. And Kushal Perera is such a dangerous batsman when he gets going. A left-hander, fast hands, and plays all around the park. Doesn't matter ground big or small. When he gets going, it's just it's very difficult for any bowler to sort of control the scoring rate.
Fletcher with his 42 with the bat as well was a superb performance.
Yeah, Spicy played lovely, didn't he? He's a great cricketer, Spice Man.
What did you say? What do you call him?
Spice Man. Yeah, whether he's with the gloves or out in the deep, he's always electric in the field. And he's settled in. He played well last season, over 300 runs from My Emirates last season. One of 4 batters the side had who passed the 300-run mark. And is very uncomplicated. This is not an easy surface to go out and find form and find the middle of your blade straight away. down the ground. We keep saying here in the ILT20, hit down the ground, don't look too square. The batters that have prospered, Spiceman tonight, have generally hit down the ground and presented a full face of the bat. Great cricketer, Spiceman.
He's a correct character, isn't he? He's a real character.
One of the nicest blokes around.
Yeah. Now, so what's it like when you put on a blue shirt with him and you share a changing room with him in this capacity?
I think it's just a continuation of previous tournaments that you play on the same team with these guys. So it's just about coming here. Yes, it's a new challenge for me as well. But I think when you have these guys on your team, it makes it a bit easier to make that transition from off the field to on the field. And it just allows you to not so much relax, but it's a better environment for you to go out and perform.
It does seem like a great environment, that My Emirates, and it did last season as well. What do you think is working so well for you that's got you 3 wins in a row?
I think for me personally, it's about doing my homework on the opposition and trying to execute as much as possible, and just going out there with a clear mind and try and play free. And I think once I do those things right, I'll be able to execute.
What does Fletcher like off the field? If we call him Spiceman on the field.
Crazy, man, crazy.
Crazy?
I think he summed it up perfectly.
Crazy. Well, I'll let you say that. I certainly won't call him crazy, no doubt about it. But thank you so much for your time tonight. You've been truly spectacular to watch. It was great fun. All the best for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Right, now we're going to find out a little bit more about Andre Fletcher.
You put me on the spot. Bangalore is my favorite place for sure, because of the wicket, outfield, boundary is small, and also shopping as well. You get everything on your doorstep. I love Bangalore. Ice cream. Oh boy, yeah, that's just an icebreaker, but you put me on the spot. I got so much. Fun, everything. Everyone knows me for my smiling also. I think I have $1 million smile. Maybe one day I'll get to be on a Colgate toothpaste brand.
There really are some great characters in this tournament. I'm loving getting to know them. One of the characters we talked about pre-show was Nicholas Pooran, the captain of the My Emirates. A little bit quiet despite making 37 with the bat. What did you make of his performance?
Well, I thought he assessed conditions pretty well. It wasn't an easy surface. He has got the ability to go through the gears, Nicholas Pooran, and he just took his time today. That was the shot there of Chris Wokes, because Chris Wokes had bowled a couple of wide Yorkers, and he got away with a couple, and then Wokes got greedy. In the end, Nicholas Pooran, I think he assessed the conditions and summarised pretty well. And most importantly, he got his side to a good score, above par, because he knows the bowlers. He has the bowlers to back it up. I think he did a pretty good job.
When you are captain, you take on that role, and you're having a night like they had with the ball, or perhaps you could say how the Warriors batted. How do you deal with that? Do you just sort of let your bowlers do their thing and step back, because they obviously had a pretty good handle on the conditions?
You still got to shuffle them around, and you got to know them as a leader, as a captain. I think he's growing with the time. He's captained here, he's captained West Indies, and I think he's a wonderful character, and also knows the game really well, and he's getting maturer. And I'm sure in the coming days you will see that he might lead West Indies also. So I have no doubts that he's a brilliant leader.
He definitely seems like a great leader. The Sharjah Warriors tonight, a tough night at the office. Not too much to write home about, except for Jawadullah with his 3 wickets. One bright spark for them at least.
Very much so. I thought he bowled really, really well, actually. He's a local bowler, and this tournament is all about producing and improving cricket in the UAE, making the UAE national side better. And this boy bowled really, really well. He's got a slightly unusual action. Wacko will know more about that than me. I'm no expert, but he bowled at the stumps. Sharjah Warriors, they attacked the stumps in the DP World ILT20 more than any other side, especially on a surface in Sharjah, where it's a little bit slower and a little bit lower and harder to hit through the line. If you attack the stumps, Wakar, you're always in the game. Yeah,
he's a very skitty bowler, and I think this sort of condition where the ball skids a little bit. Sharjah pitch, I've been coming here for the last 30 years, and it's always been like, doesn't matter if you grass on it or not. The odd deliveries will bounce a little bit more if you leave grass on it. Otherwise, when it's no grass on it, it skids through. And I think a bowler like Jawadullah, I think he can be very, very useful, handful, because he bowls straight. You got to bowl at stumps on these sort of surfaces. I played many years here, and I think if you want to be successful, the best way to go about things is just bowl straight at stumps.
Grass on the wicket, not used to seeing that here in Sharjah. It was a new pitch tonight. Do you think that the Warriors got the conditions wrong and they made their decision wrong at the toss, or they just didn't play that well? Have they given up cricket? They're taking on baseball.
I think the toss was right.
Spring training.
They're playing the wrong sport, and you can tell him that later on. I think
we're off to the States after this.
I tell you what, I think correct decision. Tom Kohler had more at the toss. Correct decision. In this tournament, you want to chase. It's a good chasing ground. It's a good chasing league. They were outclassed. Let's call a spade a spade. They were totally outclassed against my Emirates, who are very, very strong. Not just a strong 11. I reckon my Emirates have 5 or 6 guys on the bench that if they came in, wouldn't weaken the side. I don't look at Sharjah Warriors and think it's a really strong 11. I said that to you in Dubai. I felt in Dubai, last game they played, their batting lineup is unbalanced. I still feel the batting is unbalanced. And, they probably haven't got the bench strength that some of the sides have.
OK, well, we're going to take a short break here on Cricket Safari. When we come back, we take a look at Super Saturday, the big matchups coming in the DP World ILT20. That man there, the big man, Russ. Who is he taking on? That man there, another superstar, Shaheen Shah Afridi. We'll talk about it next on Cricket Safari. A big all night in the DP World ILT20. The My Emirates are on fire. Sharjah Warriors didn't have the best night at the office. I'm joined by my boys from the top of the show. I've got Niall O'Brien, Rowan Gavaskar. Rowan, look, you were rooting for the Sharjah Warriors and it just didn't go that well.
Well, I just thought it was law of averages that would catch up. They haven't won a game over here at this ground since last year. So I just thought this would be that day where it all changes. But unfortunately, not to be. But it's, again, one of those days where, as a team, we think, listen, we were completely outplayed. We've got to just park this aside. We've got to say, OK, listen, it's a bad day in the office. A terrible day in the office can happen to the best of teams. Let's look at what we can do going forward, how we can start winning matches. Win one game, and then start worrying about the next, but just focus on the next game.
Look, I think if you're going to have a blowout like that, it's best to do it at this stage of the tournament, not the back end. There is plenty more cricket coming up for you this weekend at the DP World ILT20. First things first, this matchup here, Abu Dhabi Knight Riders taking on the Desert Vipers. Now, my Emirates did something very similar to the Knight Riders that they did to Sharjah Warriors tonight, but this is an interesting matchup. Both teams need a win.
Yeah, both teams need to win, and Knight Riders, after winning that first game early in the tournament in Dubai, which we covered, we all thought this is the new Knight Riders. Well, they've reverted to type. They've had 2 really bad losses, and they need to get back on the horse. They need to get a win. They need some motivation. They need some inspiration. Whatever about batting and bowling and being, as Rohan said, this game, my Emirates outclassed the opposition. That can happen. What cannot happen? And I saw it tonight when the Knight Riders lost in Dubai. Fielding and attitude. That's something you can, that's self-responsibility. As a batter, you can be outfoxed, you can get a great ball, someone can beat you, you can get a bad decision, whatever the case may be. As a bowler, you can have a bad night with the ball. Your fielding and your attitude, when you leave the hotel and you go on the bus, mentally get yourself in a position to be ready for the game. The Knight Riders weren't. A couple of nights go in the field, heads dropped, balls are kicked over the boundary, jumping over the ball, and this is from the top. That's from the captain. He has to set the tone.
He does. So how does Sunil Narayan go about setting that tone for them? It obviously starts, like Niall said, from getting on the bus. But what do you think his players, his troops need to see from him?
Well, I think just the fact that he's a world-class player and maybe take a little bit more responsibility, bowl in the pressure overs, pick up a few early wickets. All you need sometimes as a team is that one little bit of spark. A big wicket right at the start and you get going. A couple of wickets in 2 overs and you get going. I think that's what the Knight Riders need at the moment, like a little bit of luck. Look, you also need a little bit of luck. As Napoleon said, give me a general who's lucky rather than skillful. So you need a little bit of luck.
I like that. That was very cute. That's a tattoo to put somewhere, that's for sure. The Vipers were boosted by Shaheen Shah Afridi, and we saw what he could do at Dubai International Stadium. 3 wickets on debut for him in this tournament. He knows these conditions very well, and I expect that to continue throughout this tournament for him.
I expect so. He excelled here a couple of years ago at the T20 World Cup for Pakistan. With the new ball, he's always a threat. When you get Shaheen Shah Afridi in the power play, there's always a chance of 2, maybe 3 wickets. He's going to swing the ball. His pace was back. There was comments about him in Australia and down in New Zealand. He's bowling 128, 130. The Pakistan team are looking at speed guns saying that can't be right. Bowl quicker in Dubai. A couple of nights ago, bowled with good rhythm. He'll enjoy Abu Dhabi as well, so he'll swing that ball back in. Abu Dhabi Knight Riders batters, though, they're in form, but the Vipers, they got a lot of good cricketers. I know they haven't played great so far. Last year, they were exceptional. And when I say earlier on about the squad depth, Vipers have a good squad.
They certainly do. It's a double header, and there is a second matchup that you need to make sure that you check out as well. If we have a look, it's the Gulf Giants, the reigning champs, who are having an interesting trot so far, taking on David Warner's Dubai Capitals. This is an interesting matchup. David Warner, particularly, there's been so much said about him coming to this tournament. Rohan, what have you made of his, well, they're calling it struggles early on in this tournament. He hasn't found the runs he would have liked to have come here straight away and perform with the bat.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, that's plain and obvious for everyone to see. He hasn't really got going. He struggled for form. He struggled for touch. But with players like David Warner, with his quality and his ability, you do know that all it takes is one innings. And suddenly the whole tournament sort of changes around for him. You've got to say, when he did get out of Trent Boult that first game, excellent delivery. And you've come from a long flight. You've just flown in. You get that first stop. Can happen to the best. But again, like Sunil Narayan, when Sunil Narayan was with the Abu Dhabi Knight Riders, he needs to take a little bit more responsibility and lead from the front. And sometimes, by just maybe, curb your natural game, your natural instinct, just give yourself a little bit of time to get going, maybe bat 5-6 overs and then explode.
The thing with batting, though, isn't it, Niall, that sometimes it can be the sound of the ball off the bat, a little bit of luck in the field, whatever it might be to get you going, and then you're away. And such is the class of David Warner that he's not going to struggle for too long in this tournament.
Yeah, I'm a big kind of person that I don't believe in form. I think the word in T20 cricket is overrated, because you can get a good ball, you get a couple of good balls, whatever the case may be. David Warner scores a 50 every 3.3 innings or so on throughout a 15-year T20 career. Too good a player to be kept down. One thing I will say, that video we just saw, 3 left armers have got him out in this tournament. Now, our stats men will be rubbing their fingers together, and we'll be getting emails all night and WhatsApps. Left armour. Who have the Gulf Giants got? Dominic Drakes. So that's something just to consider for tomorrow's matchup. Dominic Drakes, not as fast as obviously some of the other bowlers we've come up against in this tournament, but Warner 3 times to a left-hander, that's something to keep an eye on.
It's going to be a very interesting matchup. For you, Rohan, who's your money on? What team do you like in that matchup?
Well, I'm going to go with the Giants, I think.
A little bit tentative there.
No, because look, I was thinking, for today's game, my first initial thought was my Emirates, but I switched it last minute to the Warriors because of Nabi. I'm going to blame Nabi, but I'm going to go with the Giants. I'm going to go with the Giants tomorrow.
Guys, I want to thank you so much for your time tonight. A great night here at Sharjah Cricket Stadium, especially if you're a My Emirates fan. Make sure you join us tomorrow from all the action at the DP World ILT20. We'll see you then.